Hi, my name is Sangam.
And I am Osama Tariq, and we are here to present our project, which is
The remote finger.
so let's just have a look at what components do we need for this prototype. So right here we have is the remote, which is the prime goal to make it work. So this project will be enabling and disabling this particular remote. So in the prototype circuit we have is firstly the microcontroller, which is the mbed LPC1768. Then we have the fingerprint sensor over here. Then we have a Bluetooth device connected over here, and the relay over here. And these are the LED indications. So for the first LED indication is for the enrollment 1, then it goes on for the enrollment 2, enrollment 3, and this last LED is for the slot status. The moment the slot gets filled, this will turn on. So over here we have an LED which is the enable status. So if the fingerprint is enabled or identified, this turns on. This is the indication which tells us that this particular remote is working or not. So let's see how these components will make this system work. So here we have is the remote, and then we have the Bluetooth module right here, which is connected to this Bluetooth app right here. We have multiple functionality available on this app, which is connected with this Bluetooth module. Then we have the fingerprint sensor. The goal is that fingerprint sensors should be able to identify the finger of the user and enable this remote. So we have this fingerprint sensor right here, and it's going to take the picture of the fingers, and this microcontroller right here will do all the tasks. Once the task is completed, when you place a finger on the fingerprint sensor, when it's identified, the signal from the microcontroller goes to the relay, and relay has a potential free contact which enables the path of the supply of this remote. So the goal is achieved by placing a finger on the fingerprint sensor, and the task is completed by the microcontroller, and this particular remote gets enabled. And these functionality can be done by this app we have connected with the Bluetooth device.
Okay, so let's take a look at what features are available in this system. So here you can see in this UI that we have 3 buttons here: Identify, Enroll New Finger, and Erase All. This feature over here basically identifies which fingerprint is in the database right now, so that this remote control over here can be either enabled or disabled, depending on whether that fingerprint is valid or not. This button here, Enroll New Finger, allows you to add a new fingerprint to the database of this fingerprint scanner here. And this button here, Erase All, basically means that if your buffer is full, so in other words, if the database of this fingerprint sensor is full, then if you press this button, then all those fingerprints are cleared. Okay, so let's see this fingerprint scanner system in action. So the first things first that I should mention right now is that there are no fingerprints currently stored in this fingerprint sensor at the moment. So as a result, if I were to identify my fingerprint, this LED over here would not turn on, and this means that this remote control is not yet enabled. So let's check that out. So as you can see, if I press the fingerprint scanner here, that light does not turn on. So in order for me to turn this light on, which means to enable this remote, I first have to enroll a new fingerprint here, okay? So let's press that button, and the LEDs over here have turned on, and this means that the fingerprint scanner is ready to take on a new fingerprint. So I press my finger once, and that light turns on. This is enroll 1. So basically this fingerprint scanner takes 3 images, and if I press it again, then the second light has turned on, so 1 more fingerprint is required. 1 more time, that's done. So once those 3 lights have blinked, that is turned on, and this means that the buffer is full. So what this means is that right now this fingerprint scanner can only take on 1 fingerprint. However, we can change that value so that it can take on up to 255 unique fingerprints. But at the moment though, because we've only set it up so that it can only take in 1 fingerprint, this light has indicated that the buffer is full. Okay, so now if I identify this, then this light should turn on. So if I was to press my finger here, then you can see that this light is on, which means that this remote control has been enabled. Okay. Now, however, if I use a different finger, for instance, this one, oops, if I use this fingerprint here, then this light continues to stay off. If I use this fingerprint, which is the original one that I had, then this again turns on. So as a result, this remote control has been enabled or disabled by the use of my fingerprint.
So let's see the remaining features of this prototype. So as you know, this system has been already enrolled with 1 fingerprint. So if I try to enroll my fingerprint right now, and I start to move, this light goes on, which says the slot status, which means the slot is all the slots are filled. As our system is designed to just enroll for now one fingerprint and it's already being enrolled, it won't let you enroll another one. So what I do now is I'll erase this fingerprint, and I'm going to enroll my fingerprint in this, and let's see how it works. So I'm going to erase this. This LED turns off. Now I can go on with my enrollment. So I wait for 3 LEDs to turn on, and then I take my thumb and put my first enrollment, second, third, and there's a sequence of light. It says the sequence is done, and it goes on again since my fingerprint is now enrolled and the buffer is again 1. This is why the buffer, it says the buffer is now. Now let's just see if it identifies my finger node. Let's use this, and it turns on. If I take another finger, it turns off. So as you can see, my thumb was enrolled, and the moment I place my thumb again, it will turn on, and I place any other finger over here, it turns on. So this way a fingerprint can be enrolled again and can be erased, and new fingerprints can also be added, and you can identify, and as a result this remote will be enabled or disabled.